referral complete for missing something, or they may have sent it and we haven't seen it. And it's not, it didn't make it to the village office, so I can check that tomorrow.
Is the public hearing open, or?
Yeah, these aren't, these changes
No,
aren't.
it is the open public hearing.
Okay, so what's your recommendations right now with?
Well, first of all, once the board is done discussing, you know, if there's any comments from the public, and then,
You have to open till that.
All right, so let's make a motion to open up a public hearing.
well, you did, I think you opened it already. Yeah, it's a continuation.
Yes, continue.
Yeah, it has been open, it's just continuing.
So questions?
Yeah, I had a comment, Terry Hughes. I asked a question before, and I'm not sure whether it was answered or not. Under the Clean Water Act, if you have 20 gallons of oils, you do the math, that comes out to 24 55-gallon drums. And then basically you need a spill prevention control and countermeasure plan. Oils is very broadly defined, so if you think it's a minor item, talk to GE. Basically, the oils in the transformers are considered oils, so, and also herbicides and whatever else. I'm not sure whether this has it or not, but if it does, you definitely want to, but if you are over 1320, you definitely want it. Because legally, what it does is it limits your liability. Otherwise, you have total liability. So if you're required under the Clean Water Act to have a spill prevention control and countermeasure plan, and you have a spill into waterways, which evidently is where this would be, it's pretty close, then basically you're responsible for all the damages. Spill prevention control and countermeasure plan doesn't have to be, unless it's changed, it doesn't have to be filed, but you do need it, you do need to follow it. So the issue comes down to, do they have 20 gallons of oils on this site?
Tonight, this isn't a site-specific discussion, this is enactment of the local law.
Yeah.
Correct.
There'll be, if the local law is passed, sir, there's going to be a separate application and separate public hearing for a specific project. So I'm not quite sure that comment is relevant to the adoption of the law itself. If I'm understanding your question, you're talking about a site-specific, if this law gets adopted by the village board, when an applicant comes in with a specific project, is that what you're asking?
Yeah, no, basically you are required to have that. I mean, if you're just talking about the law and not the requirements of what they're required to do,
Yes.
then knock it off. But it would be worthwhile finding out whether there are 20 gallons of oil on the site.
Right, at that point, at that time.
At that time.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
Anyone else?
In the packets, you'll also find an environmental assessment form for consideration. With respect to the law itself, the proposed finding is that enacting the law will have no adverse environmental impact. The village board being the lead agency is previously declared because no other agency is involved in the final approval of the local law.
So this whole thing has to be filled out.
No, I filled it. It's complete. Just needs to be reviewed.
I'm just, okay, I'm looking at
The
questions that I thought we would have answered, but no, okay.
Yeah, they're answered. The couple of items that Trustee Lang, raised tonight, they can be incorporated and we don't have to continue the public hearing any further. We can vote on this once we get sign off from the county, which hopefully I'll be able to make a phone call tomorrow and get this over to them, get a response in the next 10 days. If you want to adopt after that, you can either do it at the next work session, or we don't have to wait a month for another meeting. We just have to follow up with the county.
Okay, so you'll follow up tomorrow?
Yeah.
With the county?
If
Making the changes that.
these changes that Trustee Lang suggested that if that's okay with the board, we'll make that the final version. I'll give that to the county with the EAF and try and get a written answer out of them in the next few days. And I don't know, when's the next meeting?
The 2nd of July? It's a work session.
Yeah, we should be able to get an answer on them before that. Were there any other changes that any board members had that they want made? Because these are the ones that we just talked about are de minimis. You don't need, you can close the public hearing.
Good. Make a motion to close the public hearing? Trustee Ford? Yes. Trustee Lang? That's all good. Yeah, but I think we still have to go as per the latest version. Because this thing can change. Yeah, this can change. So if this was a change, we have to go back. So the least, not the least of it, we don't put numbers in.
So our code relates to that. Whatever the most recent version is.
Yes.
Trustee Liddell?
Yes.
Public hearing is closed. You set a date for public hearing.
What?
We have to notify the newspapers, you know, for the 2nd of July.
No? It's a regularly scheduled work session, isn't it?
Yep.
Fine.
So we're good.
Just put this on the agenda for the second.
Okay. Moving along to item number 5, public comment. No. I'm sorry, no, he wants to talk to.
Yeah. Public comment.
Public comment number 5, please state your name, limit your concerns to. Yes.
Yeah, Terry Hughes. I heard a couple of times at Crusader Rabbit, we always follow the law, which of course is somewhat of a joke. I remember when I was at the DEC, the DOT used to laugh at us because basically you're from Washingtonville, you're the ones who basically changed the speed limit on a public highway, State Route 208. The mayor put up a stop sign with no authorization whatsoever. So basically that was illegal, and then you made it worse by listening to a woman who's probably been dead for 5 years. You could have had the Federal Highway Administration basically, determine whether you actually needed the stop sign there or not, but you listened, and the net result is people are going to get injured as a result of that. I also found out, and I talked to a property rights organization, I don't know where you think you get the right to basically hire people to go on other people's property and mow their lawns. You certainly have criminal jurisdiction, but I don't know, civil jurisdiction. And aside from that, the big issue really comes down to, what about the liabilities? We had the liabilities of Randy Hagan, $1.1 million. What happens if somebody damages one of your contractors? Well, let's face it, they're not at the highest level. Does property damage or one of their employees gets injured, and then you have workers' comp issues and so forth. And from what I understand, there's even no notice is there notice to the landowner whatsoever? Has there been any court hearing? And do you have administrative warrant to go on somebody's property? Those are really the issues. And basically, basically what the property rights indicated was, yeah, it's been since like the 60s, you need an administrative warrant. And, you can make a settlement or something like that, and whatever you need to do. But from what I understand, I mean, you just did this and came up with a list of houses that you wanted to have. And I'm concerned as a taxpayer, we already pay extra for insurance as a result of the last judgment against us, that you're gonna get yourself into a kettle of fish or whatever, and we're gonna be paying the price on this. And also, speaking of which, I think you need the standard rule, and I thought it was actually law, but it might be just policies, that you need 3 bids, not just 2. You just can't hire, buddies of yours or something like that. You're supposed to have 3 bids for this type of stuff. So I don't quite understand. Maybe you can explain exactly what your theory is.
Where do you want me to start?
Pardon me?
Where do you want me to start the explanation about the notices to the
I can't hear you.
homeowners? Notices to the homeowners, they have been notified.
Oh, they have been
There was a
notified. And what
There
does
was
the
a
no-
public date for them to come in, they refused to come in. At that point, we hired, we received 2 bids, actually 1 bid, 1 person. We contacted 3 people. So if we keep on waiting for all 3 people to submit their bid, the grass will be higher than the gutter. Okay?
Yeah, usually-
Also, in our code, we do state property maintenance.
Yeah, I
We're
know.
going to be enforcing the property maintenance throughout the village.
Yeah, well, property maintenance, as I know, is really somewhat limited by the Constitution and all. And the property maintenance, you could certainly go to court and demand that they mow.
We could.
But you're not doing that. You're basically just giving them a notice, and then you're just hiring somebody, so they may not even know, you may not even know who's there, and they're gonna go out there. I mean, we're not looking at a major item here, so I mean, I'm just surprised that you're just shortcutting any legal requirements by doing this.
3 minutes, you want to answer, you want to address the issue?
And the speed limit that you're referring to on 208, was that changed by the village? Is that what you're asking?
Pardon me?
You said there was a change of speed limit on 208?
Yeah, it was pretty well known. What happened was the village decided that the speed limit of 55 miles an hour was too much, and they put up signs indicating 35 miles.
We didn't put up signs.
What was
I'm
that?
not saying you did, the village did in the past.
Okay.
Yeah, the village did in the past. I
village
mean, let's-
also
let's-
had horses running through there.
Huh?
The village also had horses running through the center of the village.
Yeah, no, but basically, this was less than 15 years ago.
Okay, but we're talking now.
Yeah, I know, but the long and short is you put up a stop sign, which is a complete violation.
And we had a public hearing.
But you had
Just
the
last
stop
month.
sign up before you
You're
had the public
absolutely right,
hearing.
and I did apologize for that.
Yeah, but it was
Okay.
illegal, put it bluntly. I mean, what I'm thinking about is what happened if there was an accident, that situation, and it turned out that the stop sign was illegal. I can imagine a lawyer would make quite a bit of money out of that one. Obviously negligence probably, and I don't know all the various details on that.
Okay.
Also, did the stop sign actually meet the requirements of uniform manual traffic control devices? There are requirements,
Yep.
Was it 6 feet up in the air? Was it basically implanted and so forth?
Chris Martino was shaking he's the superintendent of the DPW. He's shaking his head yes.
He's shaking his head yes, or, I don't know, shaking his head usually means no.
No, shaking his head up and down means yes.
So,
Left to right
He's
means
nodding,
no.
he's nodding.
so your authority is basically send a notice to the homeowner, and you basically, let me see if I got this straight. You offer the homeowner a chance to appear before a judge or before the board.
Jean,
Where
you
are we
wanna
going
answer
to
that?
now?
Now we're looking at zombie homes.
Ah,
I'm not even talking about zombie.
well, there's some zombie homes that are even occupied.
Yeah.
So what was the question, Terry? I'm sorry?
The question is, where are you going, where do you have the right to go on somebody's property and basically have a contractor go on the property and perform work on the property, and the issue comes down to liabilities to the village? I mean, what happens if an employee gets injured?
Thank
We
you for his
have
comments.
a state code and we have a
This is not a
Village of
debate.
Washingtonville
This
Property
is not,
Maintenance
this is
Code.
public comment.
We gotta be toward the board. Thank you.
Excuse me,
Thank you.
this is public comment, please address it to the board, and
So I did address it to the board.
Okay, then if you have any questions for the building inspector, those can be done after the meeting. This is
Well,
public
she's
comment.
explaining now, listen to what she says.
Then that's fine, that can be done after the meeting, because right now it's public comment to be addressed to the board on village business, sir.
Well, that is village business, so.
Yes,
if
so
they were
are you,
referring it to the-
that's fine, are you done with your comments to the board?
No, I still haven't really got an answer exactly what the procedure is for having some contractor go on somebody else's property.
Procedure is set forth in the village code,
Which was followed.
which
In the
has been
village code.
followed. Yes,
What
sir.
is the procedure?
It's in the village code, sir. We will be happy to refer you to the proper sections
You can't
after
tell
the
me.
meeting. What?
You can't tell me what it is? Is there a
I'll tell you
hearing?
after the meeting.
Huh?
I'll be happy to talk to you after the meeting about it. I'll pull up the exact code sections. If you're referring to the previous public hearing we had on an abandoned property where contractors were engaged, it was done pursuant to the code, and a public hearing was held, and a vote was taken, and the applicant, I'm sorry, the property owner was given ample opportunity to appear, if that's what you're asking, and the management company that was handling this thing and is supposed to be running that property because it's abandoned on behalf of the mortgage holder, chose not to appear and chose to let it go by default. And that's the procedure that was followed, if that's the question.